everybody. My name is Madeline Grace, and welcome back to 5 Easy Questions, where we break down all things to do with the stock market and investing for the newbie investor. Today, we're talking to Matthew Nelson, a young man who caught the eye of Equity Guru's founder, Chris Perry, who calls him, and I quote, a good Canadian wonder kid and the teenager behind Matthew Million's website. Thank you so much for joining me today, Matthew.
Thanks for the introduction, Maddy. I'm happy to be here.
Alrighty, I'm just going to jump right into it. You are 18, oh my gosh, you're an 18-year-old writer and analyst. Okay, question one's really easy. Tell us about your website and how did you get started on this?
So back when COVID started happening, I found myself with a bit more free time. And my cousin, Tommy Humphreys, who Chris also has a relationship with, was a big player in the mining industry. And so he kind of showed me the ropes a little bit, showed me what he did for his job, and it interests me. It interests me a lot, actually. And then so he taught me the relationship of building, or the importance of building a network at a young age and just reaching out to as many people as you can and learning from them. And so at that point, I was like, yeah, I have a bunch of free time. I might as well do this. And so it started out with just like a Instagram and social media pages, just kind of posting my stock picks, what I think, some interesting quotes, all that sort of stuff. And then I built a website off of that with a blog. And then when things really where my name really started to grow, I guess, was when I launched my podcast, Behind Success. And that podcast, I've had the chance to interview people like Chip Wilson, David Garofalo, Brian Sluzerchuk, Tom Gallardi. And so through that, I started building my connections a pretty decent amount. And then from that, I now work on an IR business called Reflex Media, which helps companies sort of like Equity Guru does share their story.
Nice. That's amazing. So you're one of those people who was super productive during the pandemic.
I try to be.
That's amazing. I think I just gained weight. Question number 2, what are the first steps to get started investing as a complete beginner?
So what I did, I was really into the investing books, and I idolized sort of people like Warren Buffett, Peter Lynch, Charlie Munger. I sort of taught what these guys did, or I learned from what these guys did and sort of how they got into the space. Also mining people here or there, but for me, I was more interested in the value stocks, as in like now not so much, but as a young guy, I wanted to make sure I had like my financial freedom in the future and have these dividend picks. So at first I was doing that. And I would suggest that to every young investor as well. It's usually the safest play and something that could definitely yield a high reward in the future. So if I were to start today, I would try and talk to as many people as I can. I'd read as many books as I can, pretty much just learn any way you possibly can in any different sort of way. There's so many places you can get valuable information, and older people, if you're young, they want to talk to you. They like talking to you. They want to help the younger people.
Do you have like a magic book, like a book that changed your life kind of thing, or a podcast?
I really liked Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. That was probably my favorite book I've read so far. I also like How to Win Friends and Influence People, but that's not really more investing. That's more like sales and whatnot.
Awesome. Okay. Number 3, you kind of touched on this, but what are some good stocks or simple sectors to get started with?
So I would just say my first pick, my first stock I ever bought was Disney. It was actually on March 22nd last year, so that did really well for me. But yeah, I usually go with the big name brands, companies that have been around for a while and have that history already. They're established, they're not going to go out of business. They've been through financial crises. Even Disney, like they bounced back, and a lot of their stuff was affected from that. So I would stick with the long-term plays, stuff that will probably yield a reward over time, and dividend stocks as well.
Okay, I'm gonna do a branch. I'm gonna do question 3B. Are you a crypto guy? Are you into?
I am not a crypto guy. I don't hold any crypto. I do hold a few shares in Coinbase, the platform that buys and sells crypto. I don't hold any of the actual coin.
Is there a reason?
I prefer to hold Coinbase just because it's better than betting on one coin, because they're super volatile. So I don't really like that. So yeah, Coinbase, I feel like if Bitcoin does go up, then the stock will go up and it'll work out well. And I don't have to put all my money in on one coin. So that's why I chose Coinbase.
Smart. I'm with you. It stresses me out.
Yeah.
Question 4, what's the difference between small cap investing and private equity?
So private equity, which is what I've been doing mostly now, is buying shares before the company goes public at usually a reduced price. So let's say 10,000 shares at 15 cents. So that would be like private equity. You do that before the market, and they may have a few financing rounds, but typically it's like 1 to 3 until the stock market goes open or or goes public. And the difference between small cap, it's already companies that are public and they have had IPOs.
Okay, and how do you get involved in something like that if you're telling someone who knows nothing?
So so this is what I've actually like tried to base my entire brand off of, and sort of create value with it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to become involved in the private placements. I sort of saw, especially in Vancouver, that's where I'm from. There's a lot of mining deals, and there's a lot of way we'll make a lot of money in these deals. And so if you're looking to become involved in private placements and you're a young guy that doesn't really know a lot of people, the best way is just to provide value, even for free as well. Just talk to these guys that are making the deals, see if there's any ways you can help them, see if there's any ways you can provide an audience. Young people like me, what I took to my advantage was I was good at social media, and so I kind of built an audience around that, and I've leveraged that to now become involved in these private placement deals.
Awesome. And the fifth and final question, do you have any basic advice for an early investor?
For an early investor, so if you're just doing like blue chip investing and want to just create like a dividend sort of portfolio, then I would just idolize like the Warren Buffett, Peter Lynch, Charlie Munger, those guys. Read whatever they have to say. Look into how they bought. Yeah, like what I did a lot was I looked at examples like Warren Buffett buying Coke. Why did he buy that? Or like just things like that show like past history, so you can kind of keep up with how the stock market works. Because as a young investor, like there's a lot of I guess emotion. So it's really important to make sure you like understand that it can go up and down. Stocks do go up and down, and you just got to be prepared for it. So for a blue chip portfolio, sorry, what was the question again?
You're doing great. You're answering it. Like if you have any words of wisdom, advice for the total newbie.
Yeah, so that's what I'd say for blue chip. Just hold your head and listen to what the most successful people have to say. And awesome. Then for, I guess, private equity, I sort of just kind of touched on that, but yeah, provide value in any way. And small cap investing, I'd say leadership is definitely what I like to look at the most. I love a company with a good leader, especially ones that have already been a part of successful companies in the past.
So if you're going to invest in a company, is that one of the first things you would look at?
For a small cap company, yes.
Leadership.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone should go follow MatthewRNelson.ca, right? That's your website?
Yeah, that's my website.
Okay, what are your other socials? Throw them out there.
My Instagram is Matthew R. Nelson. You can follow me there. It's more of sort of a personal kind of social media account. And then my Twitter, which is like my business account, I guess, is I'm pretty sure it's Matthew R. Nelson with an underscore. So yeah, you can go follow me there. I'd appreciate it.
Amazing. You have not made it complicated for people to find you. Matthew R. Nelson, everywhere you will pop up. Do you have anything? Is there anything else you want to say that you were like, I gotta share this? Anything brilliant to do with it? To not
that brilliant, but for any young investors, just meet as many people as you can. People want to help you, but just don't be overly pushy about it. Just really make sure you build connections in this space, because that's what will help your career in the future.
That's good advice.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Maddy. I appreciate it. Happy to do it.